Imagine a factory floor where silence is as important as sound. A loom stops itself the moment a thread snaps, not waiting for inspection, not hiding its flaw, but pausing to be fixed. That moment, born in rural Japan, would echo across decades and industries. It belonged to Sakichi Toyoda, a carpenter's son, who believed machines could think just enough to protect quality. His son, Kiichiro, would take that habit and aim it not at fabric, but at the open road. The story of Toyota does not begin with horsepower, it begins with humility. In the 1920s, Japan imported cars from abroad. Domestic manufacturers were scarce, their technology lagging, their confidence fragile. Kiichiro Toyoda studied engineering, crossed oceans to watch Detroit's assembly lines, and returned home with a conviction. Japan should build its own cars, with its own system, tuned to its own reality of scarce capital and abundant ingenuity. The first experiment was clumsy, the AA sedan, produced in 1936. Its lines borrowed from American models, its heart was unsteady. Yet it proved one thing, that Japan could make. By 1937, Toyota Motor Company was born, its name simplified for luck and for ease of writing in katakana. The world would see another automaker. What it could not yet see was the philosophy being forged behind the doors. Post-war Japan was wreckage. Roads broken, resources thin, foreign competition fierce. Toyota's leaders, including an engineer named Taiichi Ono, faced a problem. They could not afford to work like Detroit, drowning in inventory and defects. They invented necessity into virtue. Why build 10 parts when only 5 were needed today? Why let a line run when something was wrong? They gave every worker a cord to pull and on, and the right to stop production. In other companies, a stoppage was failure. In Toyota, it was courage. This was the seed of the Toyota production system. Just in time meant parts arrived when required, not piled like unsold cloth. Jidoka meant quality lived in every step, not in inspection rooms. Kaizen meant continuous improvement was not a slogan, but a habit, rooted in every suggestion box, every chalk circle on the floor where managers were told to stand still and observe until waste revealed itself. These practices did more than save money. They created a culture where problems were gifts and speed was born from calm. The philosophy spread beyond the factory walls. Suppliers were not squeezed but trained. Toyota treated them as extensions of its system, insisting on the same standards of quality and punctuality, but offering mentorship and stability in return. Instead of adversarial contracts, Toyota built trust, believing that a strong supply chain created a stronger car. Competitors mocked this generosity until they realized it made Toyota faster, cheaper, and more resilient. By the 1960s, Toyota's cars were modest, durable, almost shy. The Corolla arrived like a quiet promise, affordable, reliable, global. Its name means Little Crown, and it would become one of the best-selling vehicles in history. When oil crises hit in the 1970s, Toyota's small engines made giants stumble. Where others saw shrinking demand, Toyota saw trust deepen. A car that started every morning in an age of scarcity was not just transport, it was relief. Then came a bold experiment in humility abroad. General Motors and Toyota reopened a troubled plant in Fremont, California, under the name NUMMI. The same American workers once branded impossible to manage were handed Toyota's system. Absenteeism plummeted, quality soared. The lesson was blunt. Culture, not nationality, makes excellence. Respect people, teach them to see waste, give them authority, and factories heal themselves. Toyota's rise was not just about products, but about principles. The company asked a different question than its rivals. How little can ownership cost over years, not how dazzling can horsepower feel in minutes. The answer built loyalty fleets of taxis, families, and businesses, all calculating that reliability was wealth. In 1989, Toyota dared to climb higher, birthing Lexus with a sedan that whispered luxury through silence, precision, and service. The relentless pursuit of perfection wasn't advertising, it was translation of Kaizen. Innovation here was rarely theatrical. It appeared as invisible alignments, tighter panel gaps, engines that endured, factories that flexed, until one day it wasn't invisible anymore. In 1997, Toyota unveiled the Prius, the first mass-produced hybrid. It looked eccentric, but beneath the shape lay a prophecy. Cities choking on fumes would need calm engines, and customers would pay for efficiency that doubled as virtue. By the 2000s, Hollywood drove hybrids on red carpets, and Toyota proved that practicality could be fashionable. Not every turn was graceful. Rapid expansion strained vigilance. Recalls tested trust. Executives bowed on camera. Engineers re-examined bolts and mats, and Toyota rediscovered its own principles. When in doubt, stop, admit, improve. Perfection was never the claim, perseverance was. Look deeper, and Toyota's resilience shows in crises. In 2011, when an earthquake and tsunami ravaged Japan, crippling suppliers and halting production, Toyota applied its own methods to recover. Teams remapped supply lines, shared data with rivals to accelerate recovery, and redesigned parts to avoid future bottlenecks. What had been invented as a way to conserve cash now revealed itself as a way to survive disasters. Flexibility was not a perk, it was a lifeline. Toyota's global expansion also tells a story of adaptation. In Europe, design studios tuned cars to narrow streets and long highways. In North America, trucks and SUVs carried families and freight with the same reliability as compacts. In emerging markets, Toyota produced rugged Hilux pickups that became legends for their ability to endure. Each region shaped the portfolio, yet the DNA remained unchanged: efficiency, quality, respect. The company's philosophy extended beyond business. Toyota invested in communities, schools, and environmental initiatives. It trained generations of engineers and managers in its methods, many of whom went on to spread lean thinking into hospitals, logistics, and even software. The Toyota Way became more than an internal manual. It became a global playbook for efficiency and respect. Today, Toyota balances on another hinge: hybrids, hydrogen fuel cells, solid-state batteries, autonomous systems. The experiments continue, cautious yet steady. Critics call it slow, admirers call it discipline. Toyota rarely rushes to be first, preferring to be lasting. The looms lesson persists: better to halt for a flaw than to run fast toward a failure. The company also faces a generational challenge. Kiichiro Toyoda's descendants remain involved, but leadership must balance heritage with disruption. Competitors born as startups move fast, fueled by venture capital. Yet Toyota's strength lies not in drama, but in compound stability. Its balance sheet is fortress-like, its global network resilient. This gives it the luxury to pace itself, to test, refine, and release when the product will endure. Walk a Toyota plant at dawn. The line hums, cords hang within reach, and eyes scan not for blame but for learning. A bolt slips, a hand pulls, the line pauses, a team gathers, the fix is made. Minutes later, production flows again, stronger. That rhythm, stop, learn, improve, continue, is the sound of Toyota's greatness. It began with looms, it conquered with cars. It endures with people who believe that the smallest pause today secures the longest road tomorrow. What did a loom maker's son truly build? He built more than machines or cars. He built a philosophy, that excellence grows from humility, that systems outlast slogans, that trust is the ultimate fuel. He proved that greatness is not speed but rhythm, not perfection but persistence. Toyota is not just an automaker, it is a compounding lesson in patience, precision, and people. And that, more than any model or badge, is why the company born from looms became the world's top automaker. And perhaps that is Toyota's most surprising gift to the modern age. It showed that efficiency could coexist with empathy, that the best factories are schools of thought, and that the greatest machines we build are not cars or looms, but cultures of learning carried forward one generation at a time.